Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Ready for Rome orientation webinar. My name is Shelly, and I am the Italia Pass community manager here in Rome. I've lived here for about 25 years now, and I'm really happy to be here with you today to give you all this information about coming to Rome so that you can hit the ground running. I am going to also have us be joined right now as I'm promoting to a panelist. Um, my colleague, Sophia, we had a little bit of technical difficulties today, but she should be popping in right about now. There she is. So forgive us for the technical difficulties. I am pretty analog, but here we are. So we're so happy that you've joined us today. We're going to take you through some information about Italia Pass, but mostly what we want to do is make you feel comfortable about your coming trip to Rome and have some tips about how to get around. And also at the end, we're going to give you time to ask us any questions. So first of all, as we get started, I just wanted to go over quickly what is Italia Pass? So our company has been working since 1987 with travelers to Italy. We have a family of brands, rail, tours, drive, hotels. And our CEO had this dream and vision of wanting to bring all of these things together for our customers and created Italia Pass. So basically, it's a benefits pass for coming to Italy and traveling here in Italy. And there's two types of passes that you can purchase. But mainly where you're going to encounter this is when you're buying tickets on Italia Rail. We also have a free community, and that's where I manage. You can stop over there at any time. It's community.italiapass.com. So when we talk about Italia Pass, we're talking about this benefits pass, and we can answer any questions about that at the end today, because we'll be telling you a few things about the pass that might be interesting for your trip that you might want to add. So basically, a quick overview of what we're going to cover. It's about a half an hour, the presentation, and then we'll have 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. So we're going to tell you about arriving at Fiumicino Airport, which is where most of you are going to come into Rome. It's also known as Leonardo da Vinci Airport, and how to get into the city. It's about a half an hour, more or less, outside of the city center. And then we'll tell you about our lounge at Rome's Termini train station. I'll tell you about how to get around on public transport and some tips about eating out that you might not know and how to avoid some of the most common tourist traps. And then Sophia will also be sharing information with you about tours, how to get $100 off of a tour experience. I'll come in with some local tips at the end, and then we'll launch into our live Q&A. All of this is going to be recorded, so don't worry if I'm going too fast or if you miss something. You will receive a link to this recording after we finish today in the email that you use to register. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Sophia to tell you all about how to get into Rome from the airport.
Thank you, Shelley. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Yeah, let's get right into it. So now you've landed at FCO Airport. That's the main airport in Rome, and you'll have a few options to get to the center of the city from here. As you see on the slide, they're all indicated in the terminal, so it's very easy to navigate. The first option is to reach Roma Termini, which is the main train station in Rome, by train. There are two types of trains that you can take. The first one is called Leonardo Express. It's a direct train to Termini Station, which costs around $18 on Italian Rail. And it's considered the most popular option when it comes to trains. It's direct, nonstop, only takes 30 minutes. It's a wonderful option. Or there are other trains that travel to other stations in Rome. Specifically, they travel to Trastevere and Ostiense. So depending on which area of the city you're trying to get into, you might prefer one or the other. Either way, both of these trains, the Leonardo Express and the other types of regionals, they're just regional trains. They're considered regional trains, so there's not a huge difference. There's no assigned seating. It just really depends on where you're trying to go. Um, we generally get a lot of questions on whether or not you should book these tickets in advance. And I do recommend doing so just because right now we are in high season. So the queues can get very long. Sometimes the servers get overwhelmed. So just to make sure you don't run into any issues once you arrive, I would just make sure that you secure a place at the best departure time for you before getting to FCO. Just make sure you calculate that time right because especially Leonardo Express tickets are fairly time specific. There is a bit of wiggle room, but I believe they only allow for 90-minute delays. So yeah, just make sure that you have your time right. I would recommend if you're trying to book this ticket, I would recommend at least booking it at least 1 hour and a half to 2 hours out after your scheduled arrival time. And definitely no trains out of Roma Termini, which is the station I mentioned earlier. So if you're trying to get to another city, that will be your hub, for the connection. Definitely no trains out of that station within 3 hours of arrival. This is just again in case of delays, any luggage issues, anything that might happen at the airport. You'll just want to have that extra buffer time. So that's it for trains. There are also other options, as you see here on the slide. There are taxis. They're right outside the terminal, fairly handy, and they have a fixed rate of 55 euros. So that's pretty good. Or there are shuttle buses you can take, or you can book a private transfer with us. It will take you straight to your accommodation in Rome or anywhere within the city walls. So again, the train station, any other place, if you want to go straight to the Colosseum, we can do that for you. And yeah, you can book that directly on the Italia Tours website, or if you have any questions, if you would like some assistance, you can reach out to support and an Italy experience specialist like myself will be happy to help you. Now, next up, we have a question that comes up quite a lot. It is, should I rent a car during my trip? Now, there's no universal answer for this. I would say it depends on what your trip looks like, but I will try to give you some tips to help you decide. So I would say a good rule of thumb is if you know you're going to be exploring some more remote areas of Italy, let's say some popular destinations are the Tuscan countryside or the Amalfi Coast. In these cases, renting a car can be a great option. However, if you're only going to be staying in the main cities, again, Florence, Milan, Rome, I would not recommend booking a car just because the best way to navigate in between these cities is by high-speed train. There's a great network that connects all the main cities in Italy. So that's the easiest way to travel from one city to another. And once you're in the city, there are usually very strict car traffic rules that you would have to deal with if you have a car. It can be tricky to get a permit to enter certain areas, finding parking. Just operating a car within city walls oftentimes is something that even Italians try to avoid. So if you're trying to, if you just want to relax on your holiday and you know you'll be staying in the cities, I would not, I wouldn't say having a car is necessary. Regardless, if you do decide to rent a car, you can do so on our platform Italia Drive, and you would benefit from a discount as an Italia Pass member, which you can redeem after booking by contacting us. Another perk of being a member is access to our Italia Pass lounge, which is the one you see here on the slide. Our lounge is located inside Roma Termini station. That's the station I mentioned earlier, the main hub in Rome. And it's just a great spot to come hang out if you have some free time before boarding a train, or if you're waiting for your hotel check-in time. You can just come by, relax, and our lounge offers free Wi-Fi, espresso, refreshments. We also offer free luggage storage in case you have any bags that you'd like to leave with us for a period of time. You can drop them off and pick them up during opening hours. So yeah, we also have lovely hosts that can answer any questions you might have about Rome, traveling in Rome, or your train tickets if you're trying to go somewhere else. All you need to do is book your complimentary visit beforehand so that we know you're coming and we're ready to welcome you. And now I'll hand it over to Shelley for some information on public transport.
Thank you. So here we are with public transport. As you see, it goes right past the Coliseum, pretty spectacular. We have three main types of public transport here, mostly buses Only two subway lines, very easy to navigate, A line and B line, and they only cross at one point, Termini Station, which we just heard about where our lounge is. So it's very easy to navigate. And there are a few trams. For those of you coming to the center of Rome, you might encounter one of those, Tram 8, which goes to Piazza Venezia. But mostly you're going to be looking at buses and subway. The tickets are really reasonable compared to other large European cities. They're a flat 150 price per ticket, and that is good for 100 minutes of unlimited transport on any method. The exception to that is that you only get one subway ride, so you can ride it for as long as you want. However, once you leave the station, the subway station, the metro is what it's also called, you can't reboard, even if you have time left on your ticket. Now, the easiest way to get tickets is the tap and go method. So use your contactless payment card if you have a credit or debit card, or even in your smartphone like Apple Pay. You can just tap it on the reader. So when you're going into the subway, that's easy because there's turnstiles. So you actually can't get past it until you tap on the reader and then you go through the turnstile. But on a bus, you won't have any interaction with the driver in Rome. The drivers do not sell tickets, they do not check tickets. You're going to board the bus on the front door or the back door, and you're going to exit the bus in the middle door. Although you will find that Romans don't always follow the rules, but just so that you know, that's kind of the lay of the land. But on the bus, there's going to be usually there's a reader in the front of the bus and the back of the bus, and you just tap. You only need to tap your card the first time you board any of these methods. That starts the 100-minute timer. And if an inspector were to get on the bus, because that's how it works, it's like an honor system almost. Since no one checks on the buses, inspectors sometimes board the buses and they may ask you to see your ticket. If they ask you, then just show them whatever payment method you use. They'll have it in their computer and then they can verify that that's your ticket. And then you will just have 100 minutes from the first time that you ride, and it's good for unlimited rides. If you do want to get a paper ticket, you can do that at machines. There's automatic machines in the subway stations, and you can also stop into a tobacconist's. They're called tabacceria. You can identify those because outside of the door, above the door, there's a sign with a T, or at newsstands. There's many newsstands throughout the city. And the cost is the same, and the tickets, the paper tickets have like a chip inside, so you still tap the ticket, but you just don't have to use your payment card. One bus route I wanted to point out that's really nice for visitors is bus 64. And the reason it's really nice is because it goes from the main train station, Termini, which we've talked about, and it crosses the entire historic center all the way over to the Vatican. So it's going to hit most of your major tourist points. One caution that I would let you guys know about is that it is high season right now. There are a lot of people downtown. The buses can get really packed. And so that means that pickpockets can find very easy targets if they get on the bus. Now, I don't want to worry you about pickpockets. I've lived here for 25 years and I have never been pickpocketed, not even once, knock on wood. But I think the reason is not luck. It's because I look like I'm not an easy target. It's just like you would do in any large major metropolitan city. You just don't want to look distracted. Don't have your purse hanging open. Don't have your camera hanging off like if you have a nice camera. Just keep your belongings secure about you and make sure that you're paying attention, because when it gets really crowded and people are jostling, that's when pickpockets can bump and you won't feel them maybe trying to take your wallet. So, but again, Rome is a very safe city. We have petty crime like any other large European capital, but violent crime is really not an issue here. So you can feel safe. Just keep an eye on your belongings and you'll be fine. Next, let's talk about some fun stuff. Let's talk about restaurants. You're going to love all the Roman food here. A couple things I like to tell people visiting is that you may find that our eating out hours are a little bit later than what you're used to. We generally start eating out lunch around 1 or 1:30, and we'll start eating out dinner around 8 or 8:30 in the evening. And it's not that you can't eat at restaurants outside of these times, but the local restaurants are probably not going to have their kitchens open much earlier than that. So just be aware, if you normally are used to eating earlier, you're going to want to plan to eat a little bit later to eat at the most local, non-touristy places. The reason I put check, il conto, is if you want to try your Italian, il conto, I put that because here in Italy, culturally, they don't bring your check to the table until you ask for it. And the reason for that is they don't want to make you feel rushed. So if you're wondering, how come they're not bringing our check? The service is slow. It's actually because they're trying to make you feel comfortable. They don't want you to feel pushed out. So as soon as you ask, they'll be happy to bring it. Just wanted to give you that little cultural note. Tipping is another cultural note. We don't tip at restaurants here. Generally speaking, that's just not really in the culture. Wait staff is paid a regular salary, so they don't work for tips. So don't let, if you're in like a restaurant that might be more touristy, don't let them make you think that you need to leave a tip. Certainly never, we would never leave a 20% tip, for example, which is really common in the United States. If you really loved your service and you want to show courtesy, you can maybe leave €1 per person. That's nice, but don't ever feel obligated. Same goes for taxis. It's just not really in our local culture. Um, Gelato. So, gelato, what I want to tell you about is if you run into this gelato where these tubs, like you see in the photo, are just like overflowing with ice cream, it might look impressive, but it's actually not really authentic because this is gelato that they've whipped a lot of air into to make it look very impressive. But in the end, it's actually kind of a more mass-produced type of gelato. So if you run into a shop, you shouldn't see the gelato going much over the edge of the metal containers. And you may even find shops that have lids, metal lids on the top, little round metal lids. You won't even see the gelato. That's like extra authentic. So that would get 2 thumbs up. If you see super neon bright colors, that's a no-no because that's like artificial coloring they're putting in there, and no gelataio worth his or her salt would ever add anything more than the natural ingredients. So another thing with gelato that's not on here, but I had to learn when I first moved here was gelato is bought by the number of flavors that you're going to get, and it starts at two. It starts with a scoop. So most like a small gelato cone or cup is going to have two flavors. Now you can have both of those scoops the same flavor, but it's just that you should know that you can mix and match. It's not so common, for example, in the United States where I'm from. So that's fun because you can really combine the flavors. Restaurants. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to tell you about here. If you see menus with pictures on them, that's touristy because obviously Romans, they know what their food looks like. They don't need to have it pictured on their menu. And if there's people outside of the restaurant kind of like trying to usher you in as you walk by, that's a dead giveaway that it's a tourist trap. Now, are you going to eat terrible food there? Probably not. It'll probably be passable. But if you want really authentic food, I would avoid those places. You're going to find them closer to all the major monuments, just like you would in any other large European capital. In the information that I am going to email you after this presentation, there will be a link to a resource list. And on that resource list, I give you a couple of my favorites, just that I like, local favorites. All right, I'm going to pass it back to Sophia speaking about food, and she's going to tell you about this really cool perk that we have.
Yeah, next up we have one of our latest member benefits from ItaliPass, which is Italia Dine. Now, this is a really cool idea that our team decided to put together. And the idea behind the experience is to get fellow travelers around the dinner table for a Roman family style feast. We have very passionate hosts that can answer questions about food, food in Rome, food in Italy in general. As you may or may not know, there's a huge food tradition in the whole country, and especially in Rome. So yeah, if you have a free evening, definitely make sure to check this out. The reviews that we've had so far have been great. We try to add more and more sittings each week. So yeah, and it is free for ItaliPass members. So as per usual, the experience can be booked through links that you get with your membership in with the email address that's associated with your account, or you can reach out at support@italiapass.com at any time. We're there to help you. Just send us a quick email and we'll be happy to assist. Next up, we have all the exciting sites that you'll get to see during your stay in Rome. Of course, there's a lot to see. Starting from, of course, the Colosseum. Primo members do get one free tour of the Colosseum, which features exclusive access to the arena floor through the Gladiators Gate. Um, it's also available for Viva members with a discount. But we also have several different tours that you can choose from if you're a Viva member with us and you're not looking for that specific tour that's offered with a membership. On italiatours.com, we have a huge catalog for Rome in general and especially the Colosseum. So definitely make sure to check that out. We also offer guided tours of the Vatican, walking tours of the city. One new benefit that we have is also the hop on, hop off bus. You can get tickets as a member, as an ItaliPass member. So if you just want to go around, that's usually a pretty good solution to get the highlights without having to stress about transport or anything like that. But yeah, walking tours, usually the walking tours are of the heart of Rome, the heart of the city. They usually include Piazza Navona, the Spanish Steps, the Trevi Fountain, of course. And there's also a bundle called the Rome Tour Pass that you can get. We usually recommend it if you are spending at least 2 full days in Rome, since it includes the Colosseum, the walking tour, and the Vatican tour. Well, one of the Vatican tours that we have. So if you have at least 2 days to spend in the city and you want to see all of these highlights, we do recommend checking it out. It's usually a pretty good deal and a pretty good way of experiencing all of them together. Regardless if you choose one of our tours, know that our members do get a discount on their first order. Primo members or ItaliPass full members get a $100 discount. And there's also a smaller discount for Viva members. You can book all of these experiences that I've just mentioned again on italiatours.com, or you probably guessed it, you can email us at any time. We can set up the reservation directly for you, especially if you're not sure which tour to pick, since as I mentioned, there's quite a few of them. Yeah, just feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to help. The only thing that I would mention is make sure to book these tickets as soon as you can, because of course, now that we're in high season, there's a lot of tours that do get sold out pretty quickly. So yeah, as soon as you know exactly which day you'll be in Rome, or days, of course, I would recommend booking these tours right away. Um, and yeah, that's really the only thing. The other piece of advice that I would probably give is we get frequent questions about the dress code for these places. I would say a general rule is that if you'd like to visit the Vatican or any church really that's in Italy, there's only one rule, which is you'll need to wear clothes that cover your shoulders and knees. Again, this is especially true for the Vatican, but any main basilica, Duomo, even smaller churches oftentimes will have that rule in place. Aside from that, no dressing rules, let's say. Just again, shoulders, knees, and personally, my advice would be for shoes, get something that's comfortable because there's a lot of walking in Rome, and you'll just want to be comfortable, especially in the heat. I bet right now in Rome it's getting quite warm, so yeah, make sure to have something like that. Also, you won't be able to bring large backpacks or strollers into both the Vatican and the Colosseum. So, if you have something smaller, let's say a crossbody bag or anything of that kind, it is preferred. You'll run into fewer issues with security. So, definitely recommended. And yeah, now back to Shelley for some local tips.
Okay, so to wrap up our informational part of our webinar today, I want to give you a couple of my favorite tips. So downtown in Rome, we have these water fountains called Nazzoni, and they are called that because it means big noses, kind of the way the spigot looks. You can refill your reusable water bottles here. The water comes out continuously. It comes out really cold. It comes from like a deep underground spring, and they're all over the city. So you don't have to buy plastic bottles. You don't have to get gouged by the touristy prices downtown. If you stop into our lounge, I believe that you will get a water bottle for your use. So that would be another reason to stop in and say hi to us. In my resources list that I'm going to send you, will give you a link to a smartphone app that's from the local water utility, and it has a map of all of the Nazzoni, the thousands of them that are downtown, so you can plan where you are. You can find out where the next one is, but you'll run into them very easily as you walk around. Last but not least, I would encourage you to try an aperitivo. You may know about this Italian food tradition, cultural tradition. You see that drink in the photo. It's called an Aperol Spritz. It's pretty popular. I see it a lot on social media. Um, have to have alcohol. You get there's a drink called Crodino. You could just get a Coca-Cola, and then there's these little finger foods that come with it. This one at Meccanismo is about 13 euros, and it's a nice pre-dinner. It's around 6 or 6:30, a pre-dinner snack and a tradition that Italians have. All right, so at this point, we are all done with the informational part of our webinar. So like I said, you will receive an email that has links to resources. It will have a recap of the Q&A that we're about to hold now and a recording of this webinar in case we went too fast or you want to see it again, see some points that you missed. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And now Sophia and I will go into, if you go into the chat, I believe there should be, if let's see, maybe it's under more, the Q&A.
I
Yeah,
think
because sorry for my technical difficulties today. We had some things get reset. So if you click on the three dots where it says more on your screen and you see the Q&A, you can click that and just type in a question. Um, and we are happy to be here for the next 15 minutes to answer any of your questions. Okay, we already have one come up. So I'll let you take this one, Sophia, since it's about tours and you're more the tour expert.
absolutely. So yeah, Jody's asking, is there someone we can contact to organize tours to help make the most of our stay in Rome? Yes, I would recommend reaching out to the email address I mentioned earlier. That's support@italiapass.com. That's the general support email that we have for ItaliaPass, but there are different agents that are assigned to different departments, so to speak. And chances are that request, if you ask about organizing tours, chances are that will come straight to me or one of my colleagues in the specialist team. So yeah, feel free to reach out anytime.
So we have a question from Lily that says, what about making reservations? I wonder if that, Lily, if you're referring to restaurant reservations or tour bookings. And I'll just, since this might be restaurant reservations, most places you can just walk in. You don't actually have to call in advance and reserve a place to eat dinner, unless it's like a super popular place. But a lot of even the really popular places, they actually will specifically not allow you to reserve. You'll have to just wait in line. So, but Lily, if that wasn't about a restaurant, then just type in the chat box what it was more specifically about what kind of reservations you're looking for information about. I'll let you take the next one, Sophia.
For sure. Philip's asking if I already have booked a private tour, can I still receive the $100 discount? Yeah, absolutely. If you decide to sign up for ItaliaPass after booking a tour with us, then we can absolutely just refund the 100 off of the tour you've already booked. The only limitation is that it cannot be a transfer, and it needs to be a tour that's booked through italiatours.com or one of the Italia tours to begin with. But yeah, if you've booked with us, we can absolutely just apply the 100 as a rebate. I think we I can take the next one too. Giselle is asking if we booked Italy Rail tickets through you, can we still get discounts for what you offer? Yeah, of course. So Italy Pass
I'm
is
not
actually,
sure if you're breaking up for everybody else, but for me, you broke up a little bit there.
oh, sorry about
Can
that.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. I don't know if it's my internet that's
It might be
slow.
my hiccuping too. We're
Okay.
having some
Well,
storms.
never fear to our attendees because I actually go after the Q&A and I type up all the answers. So if you didn't catch either myself or any of Sophia's answers, you will have them written down. So don't worry. It's hard for us to tell sometimes if our internet is breaking up. Um, Okay, so the next question I think is similar to the one from before. If we booked Italia Rail tickets through you, can we still get discounts for what you offer?
I would say yes. Italipass is an umbrella, let's say, department, for lack of a better term. We include Italia Rail, Italia Tours, Italia Drive, many other Italia products. So absolutely, if you book Italia Rail tickets, we'll already have you in our system. So if you're curious about the tours, we can definitely help in that regard as well.
So Philip is asking, should we buy a temporary SIM card? That's a really good question that people ask a lot. Our travelers and our members have told us that they've had a lot of success with a company called Airalo. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Airalo, I don't know, but I will type it out for you. Actually, I myself, based on what travelers had told me here with that we work with, I was back in the United States last summer, and I myself used it, and I found it really, really convenient and it was inexpensive and also worked well. So that is the one that just from listening to other travelers that I've heard. Um, there will be, you'll see like the local Italian phone companies will also have like signs at their stores that say, tourists, you can buy a SIM card
So I
here.
think
I mean, you might want to check it out, but really, for eSIM, it's really easy.
I can tell there's definitely some issues with the connectivity. I can't tell if it's on my end. Shelly, can you hear me?
Can't see Sophia. She's a little bit okay. I think I'm gonna move because I think that my internet is slow. All
Oh,
right.
you're right.
Lily's asking, what about Wi-Fi? I think you mean like what about how much is Wi-Fi available here in Rome? Like how readily available is it? Um, it's hard to say because Italy doesn't really have a third place culture. It's not really like you're not going to find all these cafes like Starbucks where you can just sit down with a, computer and do, work or connect. Um, so it's kind of hit or miss. It's hit or miss. Some of the smaller like little coffee shops that are more like brunch places or things like that you might find in downtown you'll probably in the center you'll probably find more places that do.
There we go.
There's
Yeah,
always
no.
free Wi-Fi there, so
I think McDonald's has Wi-Fi, funnily enough. Last time I was in
oh
Rome,
gosh, yeah, I just said that I must be cutting out. Yeah, that was exactly my advice. Can you hear me okay still, or am I
yeah,
cutting
it
out?
cuts out here
Okay.
and there, but for
Yeah.
the most part,
Mm.
we can
Okay.
hear.
Yeah. For some reason, it's not, my internet's a little spotty today.
Happens. Let's see. The next one I can take from Dream About Walking Tours. We have several walking tours. We have some in most major cities, really. We have one in Rome, one in Florence, one in Venice, one in Milan. There's also one for Naples. I think it's usually a combo tour with either a trip to Pompeii or just a full Naples lunch and wine experience type of thing. But yeah, we do have them. They are eligible for the discounts for ItaliPass members. So if you're curious about any specific ones, feel free to let us know either here in the Q&A or again through the email address as always.
Okay. Lily's asking about taxi apps. That's a great question too. In my resources list, I'll give you two or three of the most popular taxi apps that you can use on your smartphone. It's very convenient. We also have Uber here as well. Philip is asking, what things do we have to pay in cash? You don't really need to carry a lot of cash. A new law was passed, I think, about a year or maybe a little bit more ago, in which the government is requiring even small shops to accept card payments. And so, even at a coffee bar, even though they might grumble a little bit, because they don't like to take cards for small amounts, because the banks here have really high service charges on merchants. So that's why they didn't want to ever use cards at the coffee bars on a purchase that's like €1. But you can. And so I think that you just want to carry a small amount of cash, maybe for like vending machines or I don't know, things like maybe a little side, like a kiosk you might see on the street or, a food truck or something. But generally speaking, everywhere you go should be able to take cards. Try first and then see if they say no. All right. Oh, there's one more. What's the best map or app to use to map out the metro or bus? Do you know what I use actually? I use Google Maps. Because
Yeah.
I use Google Maps throughout Europe actually, because Google Maps has the public transport icon right next to the car icon, and it's really reliable. Um, my daughter always gets on me. She's like, "No, don't use Google Maps. There's this other app called Move It." And I'll put that in the resources. That is an app specifically for public transport here in Rome. And that app is cool because it will give you real time. It will show you real time when the bus is coming. But you know what, in Rome, you're just gonna have to do like the Romans do because the buses are not reliable around here. You're gonna get used to it
Transport is
and be like,
interesting.
that's Rome. It's just promising to come and not coming, or maybe two will come at the same time. You'll have fun. But yeah, I'll put those links for you. I'll put the Move It app. It's an app. You might not be able to download it till you're over here, but honestly, Google Maps has been fine for me. It works just fine. What is the temperature today? Jim is asking. That's a great question because
Probably hard.
it's hot. It's really hot. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up right now.
I
Current
thought
temp.
to Canada would help, but if I'm shiny today, I apologize for that, but there's 30 degrees here. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
we're at 30, we're at 31. And so we do Celsius. You'd have to convert that back. I think that's like high 80s, something like that. I think when it gets to 33, you're easily in 90s Fahrenheit territory. But yeah, it's hot. It's humid. Um, I would highly recommend bringing a cap, some sort of baseball cap or hat. You're going to want your water bottle, your sunscreen. Try to avoid the hottest hours of the day. Try to get out in the morning and in the evening. It's really lovely. Like you will love it. In the morning and the evening, there's a little breeze. It cools down. It's perfect time to have your little aperitivo. But during the day, like 11 to 3, do the siesta. Like chill, go get a nice long lunch somewhere, stay out of the sun. It gets really hot. But yeah,
seconded.
it's definitely already making itself felt in June, the summer weather. But if you're coming in June, that's a nice time to come. It's not as bad as, well, later on. I'm not going to say some of you coming in July, it's a little warmer. But you'll
Definitely.
love it. You'll love it. Rome is great. Underground theater, there you go. Yeah, I don't know if there's underground, but yeah, that worked in Paris too. Perfect. Okay, cool. All right. Well, wonderful. So everyone's asked a lot of questions. If you have more questions, please come on over. Oh, there's one last one because I was gonna say you can come over to the community. I'm there. I answer all your questions. Are there any strikes planned? Oh, Catherine, you're so local. Actually, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to double check this before I send out the email to you guys, but there is a strike planned for tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. I
Today and tomorrow.
Oh, right. It was a weird one. It was like it starts this is so weird. It starts at Thursday
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. and it goes until Friday at 2 a.m. So it's a weird time, but yeah, it's a train strike. I don't believe it's a public transport strike.
Yeah, I think it's
So
just rail.
some trains are guaranteed. If you go on the community, I wrote up a little post that has all the information. I'll put a link to that in my resource list.
Hopefully that will be the
All
last
right.
while.
Well, my internet seems to be lagging on this end, so I don't know if I'm still visible
You
at
are
all.
frozen, but we
Oh,
can hear
Sophia
you.
has frozen up on my screen.
Oh no. Shelly, can you hear us? Well, can you hear me? Please link us to the community. I believe Shelly will be sending, together with the recap of the session, she should be sending a link to the community directly. So that will probably come with the, oops, I am the host now. Well, since that's the end of the webinar, I will just wrap it up on both our behalves. Thank you everybody so much for joining. Do look out for the email that Shelly will send. And yeah, have a buon viaggio. Have fun in Italy.